Bersatu's Information Chief Datuk Wan Saiful Wanjan and Segambut Deputy Division Chief Adam Radlan Adam Muhammad pleaded not guilty to graft charges in connection with the federal government's Jana Wibawa program. Wan Saiful, who is also the Tasik Gelugo MP, was charged with soliciting bribes from A. Lian Tan Chuan in exchange for the pre-approval of contractor Nepturis in April 2022 for the Central Spine Road project with 232 million ringgit. He faces a second charge for receiving a bribe amounting to 6.96 million ringgit from Nepturis through his company. Wan Saiful was let out on a 400,000 ringgit bail, though the court ordered that his passport be impounded. He is also required to report to the MACC once every 2 months, pending the outcome of his trial. Meanwhile, Adam allegedly solicited a bribe amount of 3.5% to 7% of the total amount of a roadworks project worth 47.8 million ringgit from Mat Jusoh Mamat, who is the managing director of MIE Infrastructure and Energy. The bribe was for Adam to get an approval letter from the government to help MIE secure the project under the Jana Wibawa program. He was also charged for allegedly receiving the bribe of 500,000 ringgit in his bank account from Jusoh Mamat. The judge set bail at 120,000 ringgit and ordered Adam to surrender his passport to the court. Case management for both men is set for March 22nd. De facto Law Minister Datuk Sri Azalina Osman Said told the Dewan Rakyat via a written reply dated yesterday there are 56 projects under Jana Wibawa that have received letters of acceptance with contract value totaling 6.3 billion ringgit. Several involve leaders of certain main political parties. Nestlé Malaysia posted an 18.5% rise in net profit to 132.9 million ringgit for the fourth quarter of FY22 on the back of an increase in turnover, notwithstanding higher commodity prices, unfavourable exchange rates and the impact of the one-off prosperity tax known as Cukai Makmur. It announced a tax-exempted interim dividend of RM1.22. Revenue for the quarter rose 12.24% to 1.65 billion ringgit as it recorded higher domestic and export sales underpinned by effective demand generation efforts and normalization of post-pandemic economic activities. For the full year, net profit increased 8.7% to 620.33 million ringgit, while revenue also improved, jumping 17% to 6.7 billion ringgit. This year, the group says the volatile economic environment is expected to persist due to continued inflationary pressures. This alongside uncertainties in commodity and currency prices, with signs of a recession looming in some of the world's major economies, and food commodity prices and food inflation remaining high in the first half of this year. At the close, Nestlé's share price was 0.07% higher at 135 ringgit 10 sen, translating into a market capitalization of 31.68 billion ringgit. DRB-Hicom slipped into the red in the fourth quarter of FY22 with a net loss of 100.06 million ringgit, mainly due to lower profit from Proton. It said in its bourse filing, impairment loss of assets in certain subsidiary companies also contributed to the quarterly loss. It recorded quarterly earnings of 117.47 million ringgit a year ago. Quarterly revenue, however, increased 5.42% to 4.35 billion ringgit. No dividend was declared for the quarter under review. Still, the group performed well for the full year, with FY22 net profit of 187.71 million ringgit against an annual loss of 296.42 million ringgit for FY21. Meanwhile, top line rose 25.32% to 15.51 billion ringgit, boosted by revenue increases at its automotive, aerospace and defence and banking businesses. DRB-Hicom expects its performance to remain positive in FY23, with the introduction of new models across all marques within the group, including Honda, Mitsubishi and Isuzu, to boost the automotive sector and peak buying interest among consumers. This will also provide a corresponding boost to the group's manufacturing and engineering companies. It will continue to strengthen its banking units, transform its postal business, and explore growth opportunities in the rest of the group's sectors, including defence and aerospace, services, and properties. DRB-Hicom shares closed 2.31% lower at RM1.69, valuing the group at RM3.27 billion. Sports Toto posted a 21.77% rise in second quarter FY23 earnings to RM64.86 million, primarily due to improved results by its principal subsidiary company STM Lottery. Quarterly revenue rose 13.07% to RM1.41 billion. It declared a second interim dividend of 2.5 cents per share. For the first half of FY23, net profit jumped nearly 4 times to RM136.35 million, as revenue climbed 38.39% to RM2.83 billion. Looking ahead, Sports Toto said the NFO industry in Malaysia continues to be vigilant amid the new political landscape. It is cautiously optimistic the recovery in consumer spending, influx of tourism-related activities, and rebound in export trade will continue to support economic growth. Overall, it expects its businesses to remain encouraging and steadfast, particularly with the resilient nature of the sector during economic crises and turbulent times. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, it is confident that it will continue its lead in terms of market share in the number forecast business for FY23. Sports Toto's shares closed unchanged at RM1.50 today for a market capitalisation of RM2.03 billion. ACE Market-listed MMAG Holdings has suspended the executive functions of 2 directors of its 80% owned air cargo logistics unit, MJets International or MJets, pending the outcome of a probe by the MACC. According to the transportation and logistics firm's board's filing, the 2 MJet directors are Gunasekar Mariappan and Philip Pang Kin Ming, whom the company said fully managed the unit with limited involvement from MMAG. The suspension came on the heels of MMAG learning that the MACC is conducting an investigation which relates to MJets. MMAG said the move is aimed at protecting the company and MJets business and to ensure business continuity. It said it learnt of the MACC investigation after MJets informed the company that the anti-graft body raided the unit's office last Monday for information and documents pertaining to a report lodged with the anti-graft agency. The filing said MJets' bank accounts have been frozen in connection with the probe, but it did not disclose the subject of the MACC's investigation. At the close, shares in MMAG were down 20% at 2 cents, giving the company a market capitalisation of RM36.34 million.